Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Q&A. Today's question is, I'm trying to unpack the concept of forgiveness and letting go so I can be at peace. Do you have any tips for this? What does that process look like? It definitely is easier said than done. To me, anytime we seek peace, it's an internal process. We often think that something has to change on the outside. A person has to change their behavior, or something of our circumstances has to change for us to find peace. But in fact, peace, like forgiveness, is an internal process. So often we feel that we can only forgive when the person who we feel has caused us harm is able to apologize, or at least acknowledge that harm to us so that we can move on. But in fact, what I found in my experience is that most people are not able to meet us where we need them to meet us in order for us to forgive. So sometimes it's people who are no longer in our lives, sometimes it's people who have died, sometimes it's people who are simply not able to understand our process and do not see life and relationships in the same way that we do. So even if they are still present in our life, they may not be able to meet us where we need them to, in order for us to have this closure that we seek. So it's important to understand also about forgiveness is that it's a process which is about the feelings and not actually the event or the circumstances that we feel have caused us pain. So it's a feeling, it's the feelings that are hurt in the now that we're trying to heal and to process. So the whole situation of forgiveness is really about going into these feelings, trying to understand them, and then to process them. Because we always feel that, we always, if we depend on other people to give us that something to make us feel better, then we'll always be dependent. Then our inner peace will be dependent on something outside of ourselves. And it's simply not true. Our inner peace depends on our own ability to process our feelings and to understand what these feelings are trying to tell us. Our feelings are our body's way of informing us about what's going on, where the pain is, shows us where to put our attention. So how can we process our feelings? How can we get to this forgiveness? Is to go within, into the pain, into that suffering, and try to give it attention. In our society, we're raised with complete inability to self-regulate and to process our feelings. So for us, a way to process is to discharge the pain onto someone else. That is why we have retaliation, that is why we have wars, that is why we have punishment. Well, forgiveness is an internal process. So what can we do? It's really going to the feelings, because a lot of our pain also stems from the stories we attach to the feeling, right? I'm hurt because I am suffering because he did this or she did this. It's an internal process. So what can we do? We go into the pain. A lot of it is somatic healing. This is one of the modalities that I use. Somatic healing is going into the body, bringing our attention to finding this sensation in our body, bringing our attention to where the feelings reside in us, and then finding ways to evacuate it, whether it's through writing, whether it's through breathing, whether it's through movement. There are several modalities, several ways to process feelings, and I welcome you to reach out if you'd like more of a personal exercise. So forgiveness, once again, is about processing these feelings. And also it's important to understand that what other people do with the pain that we think they have caused us, it's really more a reflection of their own processes rather than who we are. So their behavior, their reactions are theirs, but our pain, our suffering is ours. So what can we do? It's important to also understand that, of course, the temptation to blame other people for our pain is there. This is how we are raised, right? We're raised to think that we feel something because of what other people did. But once again, taking that responsibility to yourself, taking the owning our feelings and understanding that forgiveness is an internal process. So divorcing from all the stories, going into the actual feeling and understanding that that's information about us. So whether it's, the parents that have caused us harm, or a partner, or somebody else, what is it about our expectations about the situation that is holding us hostage? What is it about us needing other people to change, or to say, or to do something for us to feel better? What can we do within ourselves to process these feelings and to understand that we are the masters of our feelings, and that nobody can really help us in that? Ultimately, is the internal process. I found that when I learned to forgive myself, when I learned to understand our human messy nature, and that I would have done better in the past if I had known better, when we understand that when I've learned to forgive myself for everything that I've allowed to cause me pain in the past, or the actions that I've taken that have resulted in this situation that caused me pain, it's become easier to forgive others. Ultimately, it's as I always say, it's me versus me. What is it that I have trouble forgiving myself for? And when I understand these processes, and when I understand exactly what happened, and face my expectations, understand perhaps the unrealistic nature of them, when I make peace with the past, when I understand why I'm here and what are some of the lessons that I'm learning through these interactions with other people, that is when I was able to come to this inner peace. It's not about the others. Forgiveness is all about me versus me. How can I accept myself? How can I forgive the past mistakes? How can I understand that other people's actions are about them and my own reactions are about me? And what can I do to heal them, to process my feelings, to evacuate the stuck emotions out of my body, and to find that inner peace? We cannot expect that inner peace to come from outside, right? It's an inner feeling. So what can we do? What can we do within ourselves to find that peace, and then extend that forgiveness to ourselves and to everyone else in our lives? I hope this is helpful. It's a dense subject and requires a lot of processing, but I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you next week.